was thick with a sense of foreboding as Mary made her way through the forest. She had been lost for hours, her flashlight barely piercing the inky darkness. She was hiking with her boyfriend when they had taken a wrong turn and ended up in this god-forsaken place. He had gone ahead to try and find help, leaving Mary behind. That was hours ago. Mary had no idea where he was or if he was even still alive. She was completely alone, and the howling of the wind through the shadowed trees was starting to unnerve her. Just as she was about to give up hope, she saw a faint light in the distance. Mary's heart raced as she stumbled towards it, her legs heavy with exhaustion. As she drew closer, she saw that the light was coming from an old, dilapidated cabin. It looked abandoned other than the light, but it was her only hope for shelter. She knocked on the door, her knuckles raw and bruised from the constant pounding of the wind. At first, there was no answer, but just as she was about to turn away, the door creaked open. No one was there. Mary called out, "Hello?" No one responded, and no one came into sight. Mary hesitated, then slowly walked in. "Hello?" she called again after she entered. This time, there was a muffled response to her left. A figure sat hunched in a chair by the fireplace. Next to it was a familiar sight, her boyfriend's backpack. She rushed over to the chair, relief filling her chest. Mary placed her hand on his shoulder as she started to come around the chair. "I was so scared. Why didn't you come back for me? What kind of—" Her voice trailed off as she came to stand in front of the chair and realized why he had not come back for her. His eyes had been gouged out, and his tongue was nothing but a grotesque nub working in his mouth to try and form words. Mary screamed, and a figure moved from the shadowed corner on the other side of the room. A man stood there with blood-stained fingers. He was smiling at her in a way that sent chills down her spine. He wasn't far from the door, but Mary knew she had to take the chance and run for her life. She took off for the door and had almost made it through when the man grabbed her by the hair and dragged her back into the cabin, his laughter echoing through the rafters. As the door swung shut, Mary knew she would never leave that place alive. She would suffer the same fate as her boyfriend. Mary was right, partly. The horrors she would experience were so much worse.